If you are over 40 and you have never once thought about what is happening inside your arteries right now, this video is going to change that in the next 30 seconds. Somewhere in your body, plaque could already be building along the walls of your arteries. And here's the part almost nobody tells you. It does not hurt. It does not warn you. It does not slow you down until one day it does. And by then it is an emergency room, not a doctor's office. The good news is that your body has a repair system, and certain everyday foods can help activate it. Not supplements, not expensive treatments. Foods you can buy at any grocery store this week. Stay with me, because food number 3 on this list is the one most people over 40 are eating backwards, and fixing it could be one of the simplest changes you make all year. Welcome back. If you are new here, this channel is all about turning real, practical health science into information you can actually use, without the fear-mongering and without the miracle cure nonsense. Today we are talking about your arteries, and why the decade after 40 matters more than any other for keeping them clear. Here is the honest truth. Your arteries do not suddenly fail at 40. What actually happens is that decades of small, invisible damage start to catch up with you. Cholesterol deposits, inflammation, oxidative stress, they build slowly, quietly, for years. And 40 is often the tipping point where the body's natural repair processes start losing the race against daily wear and tear. That does not mean you are doomed. It means this is exactly the point where the right foods can make a measurable difference, because your arteries are not a fixed pipe. They are living tissue that responds to what you put into your body every single day. So let us get into the 5 foods that research and clinical experience keep pointing to, and I will explain exactly why each one works, not just that it works. The first food is fatty fish, and specifically the cold water varieties like salmon, mackerel, sardines, and trout. These fish are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, and omega-3s do something very specific inside your bloodstream. They help lower triglycerides, they reduce inflammation along the artery walls, and they can slightly slow the rate at which plaque builds up. Inflammation is really the hidden villain in artery health. It is not just about how much cholesterol you have, it is about how much of that cholesterol becomes oxidized and inflamed inside the artery wall, because oxidized cholesterol is what actually triggers plaque formation. Omega-3s help calm that inflammatory response. Most guidelines suggest aiming for a couple of servings of fatty fish per week. If you genuinely dislike fish, a high-quality omega-3 supplement can help, but whole food sources tend to come with the added benefit of protein and other nutrients that supplements simply cannot replicate. The key here is consistency. Eating salmon once and expecting results is not how this works. It is about building it into your week the same way you would a habit like brushing your teeth. The second food is leafy green vegetables, things like spinach, kale, arugula, and Swiss chard. These vegetables are loaded with nitrates, and here is what makes that interesting. When you eat nitrate-rich greens, your body converts those nitrates into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is essentially a signal that tells your blood vessels to relax and widen, which improves blood flow and reduces the pressure your arteries are under. Lower pressure means less mechanical stress on the artery walls, and less stress means less opportunity for damage that leads to plaque. Leafy greens are also packed with vitamin K, which plays a role in preventing calcium from being deposited in the wrong places, like your artery walls, and directing it instead to where it belongs, like your bones. This is a detail people miss constantly. Arterial calcification, that hardening you hear about, is partly a matter of calcium ending up somewhere it should not be, and vitamin K helps keep that process in check. A cup of cooked leafy greens a day, or a couple of cups raw, is a realistic target that fits into almost any diet. The third food, and this is the one I mentioned at the start, is nuts, but specifically how people eat them wrong. Walnuts, almonds, and pistachios are genuinely excellent for artery health. They contain healthy unsaturated fats, plant sterols that help block cholesterol absorption, and fiber that supports a healthy gut, which we now know is connected to inflammation levels throughout the body. Walnuts in particular are one of the few nuts with a meaningful amount of plant-based omega-3s. Here is the mistake. Most people either avoid nuts completely because they are worried about fat and calories, or they eat them in the wrong form, meaning heavily salted, roasted in unhealthy oils, or coated in sugar like candied pecans. Both approaches cancel out the benefit. Roasting in processed oils can introduce oxidized fats, and excess sodium works directly against your blood pressure goals, undoing exactly what the nuts were supposed to help with. The fix is simple: raw or dry roasted, unsalted, and portioned to about a small handful a day. roughly the size of your cupped palm. That is enough to get the benefit without turning a healthy food into a calorie problem. The fourth food is berries, specifically blueberries, blackberries, and strawberries. Berries are rich in compounds called anthocyanins, which are the pigments that give them their deep color. And anthocyanins have been studied specifically for their effect on blood vessel function. They help improve the flexibility of your arteries, meaning your arteries can expand and contract more easily in response to blood flow, which is a sign of a healthier vascular system. Stiff, rigid arteries are associated with higher risk, while flexible arteries handle the normal ups and downs of daily blood pressure far better. Berries are also high in fiber and relatively low in sugar compared to most fruit, which matters because excess sugar intake is one of the quieter contributors to arterial inflammation that people rarely connect to heart health. Most people think about sugar in terms of weight gain, but high blood sugar levels also damage the delicate inner lining of your arteries over time. A cup of mixed berries a few times a week, whether fresh or frozen, is a small, easy habit with a real payoff. The fifth and final food is extra virgin olive oil, and this one deserves special attention because of how it is used in what is often called the Mediterranean pattern of eating, which has some of the strongest research behind it when it comes to heart and artery health. Extra virgin olive oil is high in monounsaturated fats and contains polyphenols, plant compounds with strong antioxidant properties. These polyphenols help protect LDL cholesterol, the kind people usually call bad cholesterol, from becoming oxidized. Remember what we said earlier, it is oxidized cholesterol that tends to trigger plaque buildup, not cholesterol sitting quietly in your bloodstream. By protecting LDL from oxidation, olive oil is doing something a lot of people do not realize. It is addressing the actual mechanism of plaque formation rather than just the number on a cholesterol test. The key word here is extra virgin, because that designation means the oil is less processed and retains far more of these protective compounds compared to refined olive oil or vegetable oil blends. Using it as your primary cooking and salad oil, in place of butter or heavily processed vegetable oils, is one of the simplest one-for-one swaps you can make in your kitchen. Now, here's something important I want to be honest with you about. These 5 foods are backed by real science, and adding them consistently to your diet is one of the most useful things you can do for your arteries after 40. But food alone is not a magic fix, and I am not going to pretend otherwise. If you already have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, or a family history of heart disease, these foods work best alongside regular checkups, appropriate medical testing, and any treatment your doctor has recommended, not as a replacement for it. Nothing in this video is meant to diagnose or treat any condition, and if you have concerns about your heart health, the right first step is an actual conversation with your doctor, ideally with some basic blood work to know where you currently stand. Food is a powerful lever, but it works with your body's systems, not instead of medical care. What I would encourage you to do after watching this is pick just one of these 5 foods and commit to it for the next 30 days. Not all 5 at once, because that is how people burn out and quit in a week. Pick the one that feels easiest to fit into your life right now. Maybe that is swapping your cooking oil for extra virgin olive oil, or adding a handful of walnuts to your afternoon routine, or having salmon twice a week instead of red meat. Small, consistent changes are what actually move the needle over months and years, not dramatic overhauls that fizzle out by February. Your arteries did not get where they are overnight, and they are not going to improve overnight either, but every meal is genuinely a chance to tip things in your favor. If this video gave you something useful, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, because I am covering heart health, longevity, and practical nutrition science every single week, and you do not want to miss what is coming next. Drop a comment and let me know which of these 5 foods you are starting with. I read every single one, and I love seeing which habit people actually commit to. And if you know someone in your life who is over 40 and could use this information, someone who has been putting off thinking about their heart health, send them this video today. It might be the nudge they need. Thank you for watching, take care of that heart of yours, and I will see you in the next one.